right, ladies and gentlemen, WrestleMania weekend in Las Vegas has concluded. John Cena is the 17-time world champion and the last real champion in WWE. Seth Rollins now has a new advocate in Paul Heyman. What the hell is going to happen here moving forward? It looks like we're getting John Cena versus Randy Orton a little bit earlier than we thought we were going to see. Randy Orton with the RKO out of nowhere to John Cena on Monday Night Raw. Let's get into it in our WrestleMania review here. Let's start with Night 1. You guys want to start with Night 1? I think it was a shocking/predictable ending, and I say shocking/predictable because it was predictable in the sense that the last few weeks or so Seth Rollins kind of built it up that Paul Heyman might be turning and joining forces with him. Also shocking in the fact that none of us actually thought it was going to happen that way, and then it did. Paul Heyman low-blowing not only CM Punk, but low-blowing Roman Reigns, his tribal chief as well, handing the chair to Seth Rollins and giving Seth Rollins probably the biggest win of his career to this point, given that he needed it more than anybody. Seth Rollins was desperate, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll tell you why. Seth Rollins has been losing to everybody and their mother in 2024 and 2025 thus far. He lost to CM Punk on Raw on Netflix. He lost to CM Punk in the Elimination Chamber. He lost to CM Punk in the Royal Rumble alongside Roman Reigns. He lost to Damian Priest. He lost to Drew McIntyre. He lost to The Rock and Roman Reigns. He lost to everybody in the last calendar year. Seth Rollins was desperate for a win here. He almost seemed like the desperate third wheel going into this feud with CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. He was definitely the weak link, but over the past 3 weeks or so, Seth Rollins managed to become the favorite going into WrestleMania Night 1 on WrestleMania Saturday because he was able to flip the script and get inside Paul Heyman's head, the best friend of CM Punk, the wise man to Roman Reigns. He finally got inside the head of what many would consider a cockroach in the professional wrestling business. He finds a way to partner up with the biggest winner of the night. Paul Heyman's side is not Roman Reigns' side. It's not CM Punk's side. It might not even be Seth Rollins' side in the far future. Paul Heyman's side is the winner's side, as Sam Roberts would say. Paul Heyman's meal ticket is who is ever hot at the moment. For 5 years, Roman Reigns was the hottest thing in the business. When they teamed up together, it was arguably one of the biggest moments in professional wrestling history because of what came after it. Arguably the greatest heel run and greatest title run of the modern day, if not of all time, with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, with Paul Heyman by his side as his wise man for 5 years. Remember 15 years ago, I think I'm outdating myself, I believe it was 13 years ago, CM Punk and Paul Heyman, obviously CM Punk with the pipe bomb promo saying he's a Paul Heyman guy. Guess who else is a Paul Heyman guy? Brock Lesnar. And he split just like I'm splitting, but the biggest difference between me and Brock is that I'm going to leave with the WWE Championship. That's right, I remember it. I could say it in its entirety if you want me to, but CM Punk declared himself as the first ever Paul Heyman guy back in 2011. Then Paul Heyman joins forces with Punk in 2012 when Punk turned heel, and for 434 days, CM Punk was the greatest WWE champion of the modern era, with Paul Heyman by his side. What happens? CM Punk loses the title. Paul Heyman turns on Punk and becomes an advocate for Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar becomes the 1-21-1. He beats The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar go on a reign of terror. Brock Lesnar didn't get pinned by a WWE superstar for nearly 2.5 years after that. Funny enough, it was frickin' Goldberg who didn't deserve it at all. But Brock Lesnar went on a tear after that, just like CM Punk was on a tear with Paul Heyman. Just like Brock Lesnar then went on a tear with Paul Heyman. And then what happens? A bigger fish comes after Brock Lesnar decides to take his ball and go home during the COVID era in 2020. Roman Reigns comes back as a heel, aligns himself with Paul Heyman, and then for nearly 1,316 days, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman dominated the WWE on a reign of terror as the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion. And who did he beat in that process? Who did Paul Heyman turn on in that process at the Royal Rumble in 2022? That's right, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley for the title. Lesnar's the champion. Roman Reigns comes down and spears Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns offers a hand of forgiveness to Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman gives the title to Reigns to assault Brock Lesnar, and that's when he turned on Brock Lesnar for Roman Reigns. And now here we are, 3 years after that occurrence. Roman Reigns, no longer the WWE Champion. He loses to Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania 40, arguably the greatest WrestleMania main event of all time. For the last year, Roman Reigns has had to rebuild. He had to get his Ulafala back from Solo Sikoa. He needed to ask Paul Heyman's help and CM Punk's help at Survivor Series. Though it wasn't him asking for the help, Paul Heyman asked for a favor, and that's what led to the favor at WrestleMania 41, with Paul Heyman being in the corner of CM Punk. Roman Reigns is now on the back burner. He lost Jey Uso, he lost Jimmy Uso, he lost Solo Sikoa, he lost his wise man there for a little bit before he came back at Survivor Series. Roman Reigns didn't have anything. He won back the Ulafala at Raw on Netflix. He lost the Royal Rumble match. He was taken out by Seth Rollins and was out for a month plus before returning and setting up the triple threat match at WrestleMania between Seth Rollins, and CM Punk. And going into WrestleMania 41, Roman Reigns, for the first time in 5 years, went into a WrestleMania entrance without his title and without his wise man. He did it alone as the tribal chief with the Ulafala. CM Punk gets the honor of getting walked down to the ring not only by his best friend Paul Heyman, but by Living Color. I've been to 2 WrestleManias, WrestleMania 29 and 41, where CM Punk got walked to the ring by Living Color, and they are just as good as they were 13 years ago. Shout out to Living Color. Probably the greatest wrestling triple threat performance I've ever seen live at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. So much back and forth action. Tables were broken. We almost saw a Shield powerbomb with Reigns and Rollins. We got a Jon Moxley reference from Seth Rollins. Paul Heyman just looked disturbed the entire time. The entire stadium, and I never thought this would happen ever again, the entire stadium, 61,000 strong at Allegiant Stadium, were all in unison singing "This Fire Burns" by Killswitch Engage, CM Punk's original theme song, in his video package right before Living Color walked him out to the ring. It was amazing. What an amazing moment, touching feeling for CM Punk getting to walk to the ring, not only to "This Fire Burns," but to Living Color Live and Paul Heyman. Greatest thing he could have asked for after 10 years away from the company. Roman Reigns, back to Roman Reigns, has some high spots, some low spots. He doesn't trust Seth Rollins. He doesn't trust CM Punk. Now he doesn't trust Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman had a decision to make in those final minutes, ladies and gentlemen. I call it the triple turn. It was a triple turn. He turned 3 times. He's looking at Punk. He's looking at Reigns. He's looking at Punk. He's looking at Reigns. He looks at Reigns, gives him the shake of the head, tosses the chair to CM Punk. And though he walked CM Punk to the ring, he's on his side, he's also the wise man to Roman Reigns. So this is a turn. This is a moment where Paul Heyman steps up on the ring apron. He's siding with CM Punk. Paul Heyman just turns on Roman Reigns. Or so we thought. And then the first low blow. Pow! Paul Heyman with the low blow to his best friend CM Punk turns on him for the second time in 13 years. And then Roman Reigns has this look on his face like, I'm not alone. My wise man didn't turn on me. Jey Uso turned on me. Sami Zayn turned on me. Solo Sikoa turned on me. There's no way the wise man would ever turn on his tribal chief. He loves him too much. Low blows CM Punk, hands the chair to Roman Reigns, looks at the corner and goes, my tribal chief, take care of Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins with his back up against the ropes, very similar to the moment where Seth Rollins stabbed the Shield in the back by hitting a chair to Roman Reigns' back in 2014, nearly 11 years ago. Roman Reigns has the chair. He's about to wind up. Paul Heyman's right behind him, so obviously all of us in the stadium knew what was about to happen. Paul Heyman, for the first time in 5 years, and for the first time ever, turned on the tribal chief, low blows Roman Reigns. Everybody's shocked at Allegiant Stadium as Seth Rollins gets handed the chair from Paul Heyman, and now we have the newest, hottest alliance in professional wrestling. 2 of the biggest, slimiest dirtbag scumbags that pro wrestling has to offer, with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. So not only did Sami Zayn turn on him, not only did Jey Uso turn on him, not only did Seth Rollins turn on him, but the wise man Paul Heyman turns on Roman Reigns. It was a perfect technical wrestling match. It was perfect entrances. It was the perfect crowd atmosphere. It was the perfect storytelling to arguably the greatest main event in recent memory. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes the last 2 years. Yes, two of the greatest main events I've ever seen. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins with Paul Heyman involved, and Paul Heyman turning on both CM Punk and Roman Reigns to align himself with Seth Rollins was absolute cinema. One of the greatest matches I've ever seen, was the main event, in my opinion, of the entire WrestleMania 41 card. Some will argue the triple threat match between Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair for the Women's WWE Championship was up there, and maybe even a better technical wrestling match, and I wouldn't argue that. But from a storytelling perspective, that was a main event level storytelling. Like I said, entrance, crowd reaction, moveset, moments in the match, just so much perfect storytelling told by Phil Brooks, told by Joe Anoa'i, told by Colby Lopez, Paul Heyman, and Paul Levesque. Kudos to you five for putting on such a spectacle on Saturday night. Now let's move to Sunday night's main event, which I can't really say the same for. This is what I'll say about WrestleMania 41. Saturday, kind of a snooze fest until the main event. Sunday, every match was phenomenal from top to bottom, except for the main event. Dominic Mysterio wins the Intercontinental Championship, and for the first time since he turned heel on Edge and Rey Mysterio at Clash of the Castle in Cardiff, Wales back in 2022, Dominic Mysterio turned hellacious boos into a raucous cheer, and now it looks like Dominic Mysterio might be a babyface moving forward as the IC champion. Who knows? We're going to have to wait and see if that crowd reaction carries over from WrestleMania 41. Like I mentioned, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bianca Belair for the women's title, probably the best technical wrestling match of the entire weekend. We saw Randy Orton with a mystery opponent that turned out to be Joe Hendry, the TNA World Champion, which got a huge pop. We got a couple of cool shots in that with Randy Orton turning around and doing the Joe Hendry mood, the Joe Hendry turning around into an RKO. That was really cool, really funny. Randy Orton is increasingly becoming one of my favorite human beings in the professional wrestling business, the way he carries himself and obviously the way he wrestles, because there is nobody smoother than Randall Keith Orton. What else did we have? We had AJ Styles versus Logan Paul with Karrion Kross getting involved. That was a great technical wrestling match as well, with Logan Paul going over, which I thought was the right call. There was just so many good moments. Becky Lynch returning for the first time in a year, winning the tag team titles with Lyra Valkyria. And then we get to the main event, literally the main event of the entire weekend. This is why over 120,000 asses were in seats this weekend at Allegiant Stadium. Cody Rhodes, who's been the undisputed WWE champion for the last year, defending against his hero, who says he's going to be the last real champion for the first time in 25 years, a heel, a mega bad villain in John Cena. John Cena comes out to absolute darkness. Just his name, no fancy colors, no fancy ring gear, no fancy nothing. We got nothing from John Cena because I guess as fans, we deserve nothing from John Cena. And it's funny because it was just nothing but his name in white and everything else in black, and he just walked to the ring, no salute, no running down. It's just, it's odd. It's always going to be odd to see John Cena, but I'm really starting to sink my teeth into this heel run. He wants to ruin professional wrestling for everyone, for the fans, for the company, for everyone. And I'm starting to think he took that literally because he ruined the main event. I don't think it was a good match. I don't think it was a good finish. I don't think we got the closure. And again, it's a story being told, and it's long-term storytelling. So the closure of this John Cena run isn't going to happen until December when he retires. But we didn't get, I'll say it, we didn't get The Rock. We didn't get The Rock in a story that The Rock created. The Rock came back and inserted himself into a story to take Cody Rhodes' soul, and then when Cody Rhodes told The Rock to go fuck himself, John Cena turned heel, shocking everybody at Elimination Chamber in Toronto. And now you have this trio between John Cena, The Rock, and, Travis Scott. The Rock doesn't show up at WrestleMania. I don't know why, if he was just taking time off in Hawaii like he said he was doing on his Instagram, if he had other big movie obligations, I don't know. But this is the Super Bowl for WWE. This is when The Rock wants to show up. He wanted to show up at WrestleMania 40 and insert himself into a storyline that Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns were telling to make The Rock versus Roman Reigns. The fans didn't want it, though Triple H and The Rock and everybody involved will tell you that that was already premeditated to get Cody Rhodes even more over, which I believe it. But The Rock doesn't show up in a story that he created in, like I said, the Super Bowl of WWE. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's kind of sinister to me, and it makes him a real-life heel in my eyes. John Cena comes to the ring. Cody Rhodes has an awesome entrance with a ton of motorcycles. He's wearing the skull cap. It's awesome. The match itself was the 5 moves of doom. Shoulder tackle. I don't even know what you call that. Kind of like a body slam. 5-knuckle shuffle. You can't see me. Like 5 attitude adjustments. I think he hit 4 in the match. I think he hit 1, he hit 2, he hit the 3rd off the top rope, and then he hit a 4th. Cody Rhodes kicks out of all of them. And then just when you're thinking like, okay, something's got to happen soon, Travis Scott's Fiend hits, and you're thinking, all right, here we go. Here comes Travis Scott. Here comes The Rock. All we got was Travis Scott. Out of all the interferences that you could see in the main event of WrestleMania, it's a non-wrestler and just a famous rapper that essentially he was coined the theme song for WrestleMania 41 with Fiend, which was a great theme song. Now it's kind of like a heelish theme because you think like, oh no, bad things are about to happen. Travis Scott knocks the ref out of the ring, knocks Chad Patton out of the ring. Cody Rhodes hits him with crossroads after he got his ear slapped at Elimination Chamber. And then John Cena, and this is the telling moment, okay? John Cena wants to ruin wrestling. Wasn't a great wrestling match. You could even say, okay, he legitimately wants to ruin wrestling by not giving us a performance that we think is worthy of his 17th World Heavyweight Championship. John Cena and Cody Rhodes are in the ring. Cody Rhodes is holding the WWE Championship after John Cena tried to smash him in the head with it. Cena's pleading with Cody Rhodes, saying, please don't hit me. Please forgive me. And Cody Rhodes had a decision to make, which John Cena said on SmackDown on Friday. John Cena told Cody Rhodes at some point, you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to be the good guy, or you're going to have to be the bad guy. And when John Cena knew that Cody Rhodes wouldn't sell his soul to The Rock at Elimination Chamber, John Cena knew that John Cena was going to win the WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes because he was willing to do what Cody wasn't willing to do. And in that moment, Cody Rhodes had a decision to make to become the good guy or the bad guy. He could smash John Cena over the head with the title, or he could put it down like a good guy. He puts it down like a good guy and gets kicked right in the balls. Again, just like an Elimination Chamber. John Cena kicks him right in the nards. John Cena picks up the championship. John Cena smashes him in the head with the championship, gets Chad Patton. 1, 2, 3. John Cena is your 17-time WWE champion. He's the most decorated champion in the history of WWE. He finally beats Ric Flair's 16-time record, and John Cena is in the most boring possible finish to a WrestleMania main event, wins the most important championship title in his career, number 17. I guess that's the way you could see it. John Cena did not give the fans what they want. He didn't give them a performance worthy of that moment that we all envisioned for nearly 2 decades. I mean, when John Cena won 16 against AJ Styles back in 2017, you're like, okay, when he wins 17, and there was no guarantee. He could have walked away with 16, but when we knew that there was a chance in this retirement tour that John Cena was going to win his 17th World Championship, we were going to see a pretty cool match and a pretty big moment. It was not a pretty cool match, and it was not a pretty big moment. John Cena winning the title in the most vanilla, bland, heel way that he possibly could have won it, and I think he enjoyed every single second of it. I think Paul Levesque said in the WrestleMania press conference that for years John Cena put a smile on his face, but he wasn't smiling on the inside, where now he's not smiling on the outside, but he's smiling ear to ear on the inside because now he controls the ball. For 25 years, the WWE Universe was in control of John Cena, and now John Cena is in control of the WWE Universe, and I think he's enjoying every single second of it, telling the media, that's a clickbait question, that's a clickbait question, that's a clickbait question, that's a clickbait question, over and over and over again before he told him to step up his game, and he left with the title. He's the last real champion in WWE now. And that's the way I choose to look at this. I choose to look at it as, yeah, that was a pretty lackluster main event, but maybe that goes with what John Cena is saying. We don't deserve more. Because at the end, all these kids are leaving Allegiant Stadium, and I'm walking out of Allegiant Stadium, and all these kids are saying, that was the worst main event I've ever seen. We didn't get anything. We didn't get The Rock. It's like, then you look back at that promo a month ago, and John Cena saying, what do we get? What do we get? What do we get? You get nothing because that's what you deserve. You get what you deserve, and what you have earned is nothing. And that's kind of what we got in the main event. And that's the way I choose to look at it. 2 history-making nights, a WrestleMania Night 1 that we will never forget with Paul Heyman aligning himself with Seth Rollins, and then John Cena winning the record-breaking 17th World Championship of his career, the most decorated champion in the history of WWE. And now we got to go to Backlash. Backlash in St. Louis, Missouri in just a couple of weeks, May 10th. And what are we going to get? We're going to get the greatest rivalry of the John Cena era, when John Cena takes on the Viper Randy Orton in his hometown of St. Louis, Missouri at Backlash. You couldn't have followed up WrestleMania with John Cena versus Cody Rhodes any better than reliving one of the all-time classic rivalries with 2 guys who are in great shape. John Cena isn't in the shape he was 10 years ago, but he's in great shape. He's a heel. He's doing some of the best work he's ever done in his final run. And now we get a Randy Orton who's probably as vicious as ever. He's got like that 09 vibe in his head, but he's a good guy. And now he's going to face John Cena after hitting one of the more devastating RKOs of his career the night after WrestleMania, taking out John Cena after John Cena gave the fans a photo op of the last real champion, and out came Randy Orton to a massive pop. So I'm excited to see where they take this storyline between John Cena and Randy Orton at Backlash. But those were my thoughts. What do you guys think of WrestleMania 41? Comment down below.